Hello, hello. We're about to get started with 30 minutes of mobility today. I hope that you guys are all excited. I'm just going to connect my headphones and we might have a few people joining us in a little bit. We'll see. So let me just connect these guys while you guys get in position.
All right, we are going to get started with 30 minutes of mobility today. I want you all to have a chair with you, any weights if you have them yourself. And we're not going to do any ground movements today. We're going to focus on some functional patterns and functional movements, which those of you who come to this regularly had a chance to be assessed in those functional movement patterns. And I'm excited to deliver you your content there. So you're going to get a document with a bunch of information about why exercise is important, why loading the musculoskeletal system is important, and why these movements in particular are very important to meet our goals and to meet the demands of daily life. Of course, at a NewFit, everything we do is custom and individualized. So if you sign up to work with us individually, then we will look at your goals, we will look at your injury history, we will look at how you move, and we will work with you on a custom program that helps you to meet those goals, move better, and become more active, more fit, and more mobile. We're excited to have you here on this free class every Thursday. Just so you know, the free class is here to get you moving, but to really see gains, you should be working out 2 to 3 times a week for at least 2 months. I know that sounds like a long time, but it actually isn't, because if you think about it, if we can make those gains now and we can make them early, then as we continue to age, which we all do, we have that behind us. We know how to care for ourselves, and caring for ourselves includes caring for the body. It includes having strength, mobility, being able to get down and up from the ground, which is very linked to all-cause mortality. We want to be able to move. We want to be able to move happily. And unfortunately, aging is something that we think of with the word decline, but it's not connected. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. We should have we should have Lauren joining us soon as well. I was recording this and just talking to the audience about what we were doing with your movement analysis, why we did them, and what they're all about. So I'll talk to you about that now. But what we are trying to do with that movement analysis is look at some very functional patterns of human movement that are necessary to live independently, actively, and confidently. So if you didn't do them today, you didn't do them well, that's entirely fine. It's something we can all work on no matter how old we are or where we're at. But I'm going to send you guys all your documents, which includes some education at the top about why loading the musculoskeletal system is important, why these types of movements are important, and then I go into analyzing how you moved and some things that you can do at home to try to make that movement pattern a little bit more clean so you can feel better about it. In general, at a NewFit, we focus on a one-to-one or group training environment where we work towards clients' goals. These Thursday classes are free, so they're much smaller. They're sort of like a snack, a movement snack. And when we're doing a snack of movement, we recommend that either you join our program or another program, or you take what I give you and you do it at home at least 2 other times during the week, because there is no way to see progress in how you're moving without putting the work in, and that work is generally 3 times a week for 2 months to see those gains. So you will be given, because you're a loyal participant of these Thursdays, a complete analysis of what you can continue to do right now to help improve those movements, and every Thursday we can keep working on them. But if you ever want to take that to the next level with us or someone else, we're happy to help you figure that out. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So since I have you here, I'm just going to show you really quick, so that way if you Once you receive this, you'll know what you're receiving, and then you are welcome to ask me questions at any time. So this document is going to look like this. So this is a blank one so that you can see. So basically it just has a bunch of bullet points about why strength or mobility or musculoskeletal health is important and what happens with the aging process if we don't move enough. And then we go right into why we are doing a new fit and then why we chose those 3 movements in particular. And then each of you gets a personal analysis here. So I will talk to you about the movement on your video, what things you did great, what things we can improve. And then I'll make some recommendations of movements that you can do at home on your own every week to start to improve these things. So if you have any questions about that, once you receive it, you're welcome to ask me. Each of your recommendations are different because you all had different patterns, different movements, and different essentially goals when I have first talked to you. And some of those may have changed, but regardless, you all move differently. So you all need different things to help improve those movement patterns. So we're going to start doing this on these Thursday sessions every 4th, so 5th session. After 4 sessions in the 5th session, we're going to have you guys record another video of a movement. It's kind of like a quiz. Again, you don't have to worry if you don't do it well, but it's more about understanding what you're getting from us every Thursday and making sure that for the people who can only afford to join us on Thursdays, they can still get benefits. They can still see gains beyond the movement facts, but we can really look at, okay, this is a very critical pattern. How can we improve it? How is everyone doing in it? What are you learning from me? What can I do better based on how you guys are moving? So it's kind of like a check-in so that everyone can get the maximum benefit from what we're doing. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I like your shirt. I was just telling Edie about the movement analysis. I'll send you this video so you have it so you can see what we just talked about. But we're going to go ahead and get into some movement for about 30 minutes. So we can start with the warm up if you guys are both ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Computer set. Yeah. Okay.
All right. We're going to start with bringing the left ear to the left shoulder. And I want you to very gently bring this chin around to the front of your chest, eyes open, connecting the right ear to the right shoulder. Nice. And then we're gently going to go back, connecting the chin to the chest, and then left ear to left shoulder. Now you guys are going to go ahead and do this 4 more total times at your own pace. If you're someone who gets dizzy, has vertigo, and this movement bothers you, you can just go from side to side. Some folks like to close their eyes. I personally find that to be more disorienting, but it's up to you. So listen to your body and do what is best for you.
It's amazing. I've been sitting here reading, and it's amazing how stiff you do get
Yes,
without realizing it.
It's true. I know. When I get sucked into a good book, I'm always like, whoa. I feel.
Yeah.
I always read in a weird position too. Are you reading anything good?
I just started Barack Obama's book, A Promised Land.
Oh, nice. I heard that was really good. I've been wanting to read that.
Yeah. He's a beautiful writer, and so I'm excited to
That's awesome.
really get into it.
That sounds really good. I should put that on my immediate list.
Yeah.
All right, once you're done with this neck, I want you to go to these shoulders and think about rolling them back for 8. So you're making a circle with them, and then we're going to roll them forward for 8. No, it's good that you're reading that. Have you read Michelle Obama's book? I've heard, or she had a movie, but I think she has a book too. That's supposed to be really good.
It's sitting upstairs, and I have not read it. I got out of my reading for a while, and now I'm back in, and I take a book off the shelf, and when I finish it, it goes into a box that goes out of the house.
Really? You get rid of it after?
Well, because I've read it, and I'm trying to pare down. So
that's smart. Maybe I'm gonna be in Vermont in May. Maybe I can borrow this Barack Obama book from you when you're done with it.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we're gonna let these hands hang heavy by the sides now, and we're gonna rotate this chest, letting the arms just hang like we have no muscle. We're not holding up our muscles here, just letting them hang. If you need to soften your knees or move your feet in this one, you're welcome to. It should feel good. Nice. So think about your chest moving, but your head staying kind of straight. So it's like a rotational torso movement. Yes. Nice. Good. And we're going to start to bring this back to the center. And then we're going to get to these hips. So I really want you to think about those hip circles. We're going to break it down into all 4 quadrants and then turn it into a circle today. So I want you to pop your hip towards the left. And then you're going to go back with your hip or your bottom. Bring your hip towards the right. And then poke your belt buckle out forward. And I want you to try to turn that into a circle for 8. And then you can switch directions for 8. But really try and get some good hip mobility there as long as everything feels good. We don't move our hips enough. So you can even put your hands on your hips. And I want you to think about, can I just move these hips and keep my torso pretty controlled, my head pretty controlled, but these hips are moving and grooving. Nice. And then we're going to go back this way, the other way for 8. Again, really try and get these hips to move. So if you can see yourself in the camera, see if you can say, okay, is this part of you pretty stable, and are just these hips mostly moving? Of course, your head's going to move if you're making big circles, but some people do this with their upper body. None of you are doing that, but I want you to do this with your hips instead. Nice. So when you're both done with 8 and 8, let me know.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go feet together next, knees together, and we're going to move these knees in circles. So I like to start with little circles with these knees. We're going to go for 8 in one direction and then 8 back in the other direction. And your goal is really to think about how your center of gravity moves underneath your feet. So going nice and slow and feeling your weight shift below your feet each time you make that circle with your knees. And the goal of that is really, a lot of the stuff that we talk about on Thursdays is about economy of motion and efficiency. And so we're looking here at body weight shifting, which plays a big role in how we can move more efficiently if we can be more aware of this. So 8 and 8. Nice. Good. Perfect. And then when you're done with these knees, you can use something to hold on to, or you can just use nothing. It's up to you, but I want you to lift up one leg and make circles with your big toe. Again, you're trying to get some ankle mobility here. So sometimes I see people move their leg like that. That's not what we're doing. We're also not moving our hip. All we are moving here is this big toe is like it's drawing a circle on the ground, which is going to move the ankle. And you're going 8 in one direction and 8 in the other. You don't have to hold it up as high if you don't want. I'm just trying to make sure you can see it. But as long as you can rotate it, you're good.
I'm finding that it is easy to trip when you don't pick your feet up enough.
Yes, that is true. And
Oh,
so you're picking them up more?
I'm not, I'm trying to concentrate. Come on, pick up your feet.
That's great. So some of that is going to be related to strength. So after watching all of your videos, I really want to figure out with some of you how to build more strength. And like I've said, typically people do that. They're enrolled in a program and they are working out with us 2 hours a week, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. in 10 sessions, you can make a lot of gains with that. We know that not everybody has the money to do that. So if you're not able to do that, then we do recommend you take the time to hold yourself accountable and do exercise at least 3 times a week to build that strength, so that, you know, if you can build more strength, then this is going to be a lot easier than if you don't have it. And so I know exactly what you're saying. I trip sometimes too. We all do need to be aware of picking up our feet, but the stronger and stronger we are, all of these things just become easier and easier.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're both done with those ankles, I'm going to go over some of these functional movements or these functional patterns that we tested you all on last time. And I'm going to give you your own personal analysis for, but I'm going to go over some of them again today. And I'm going to ask you guys questions before I give you your results about why you think that these movements are important and what you think about the movement in particular is important. And then we're going to do them together. So I'm going to start with the squat. That's also thinking about sitting down in a chair. So I don't have a chair here today, so I'm just going to pretend. So if I'm here, I'm going to show you 2 versions of this, and I want you both to tell me which one you think is more efficient and which one is getting me to my goal, which is to build strength in this part of my leg. So I'm going to show you one right now. This is number 1. And I'll do it 3 times. Okay, and this is version number 2.
That's the one.
That's the one. What do you
Yeah.
think, Lauren?
Yeah, I think that's gonna build strength, yeah.
All right, perfect. So we're gonna do squats like that today. We're gonna do 10 of them. And while we do them, I'm gonna talk to you about what the difference between those 2 are, which you see now. And so I wanna talk about them. So I want you to think about you're sitting in a chair. You can even put a chair behind you if you want and just gently tap your bottom on it and stand back up. Not everyone has the control to get all the way to a chair height. So just go as low as you can where you feel like you have that control and you're sitting down as opposed to pushing through those knees. So the first one that I showed you, I'm pushing through my knees, because that's something a lot of people do when they're trying to do a squat. And the reason that that's not as efficient of a movement is because, well, our knees are not really designed to take force like that, right? Like that's asking our knees to do a lot to take our whole body to the ground, shooting the force like this below them. But more importantly, the mechanics of my body, that makes this movement very inefficient. I'm not even really able to work these muscles. Instead, I'm just putting stress on my knees, and my ankles have to be really flexible if I'm trying to move like that, which most people aren't. Whereas if I think about sitting back in that chair and standing back up, I'm calling these muscles to do the job. Nice. So I want you each to practice for the next week, really trying to find that squat. And so after you do 10 today, I'm going to show you a little trick of how to make this easier so that you can practice at home. So are you both done your 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the chair is a little in the way, but hopefully you can still see me. So if you have a door with a door handle, whether the handles are round or long, I want you to go ahead and hold on to these door handles. Of course, make sure they're sturdy and you can get a good grip on them. And then I want you to find whatever foot position and whatever distance from this door makes sense to you. But I would start with a distance where your hands come out right on that door and your legs are not too close, but they're not too far away. And I want you to use your hands to help you sit down in that imaginary chair and stand back up. So I know that it's not as easy to move your cameras, but if you both want to find a door frame, I don't have to be able to see you, and try this. I want you to try 5 of those like that.
Yeah, that's helpful to me.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's good. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, so you're getting a lot lower. So you
Yeah.
can even use your hands more. If you're feeling strong enough, you can just rely on these arms to bring you back. So what that's doing is that's getting you in that fuller range of motion. So you're able to tell your body, hey, I can go down this far and I can come right back up. And the more we can build that pattern, the better we're going to be in the long run when our body decides that it's strong enough to cooperate with that. So I want you guys to start doing that at home. And I would say to do, let's do 15 to, at some point until next Thursday, 2 times 15. So let's say on Monday you do 15, then on Wednesday you do 15, or on Sunday you do 15, and on Tuesday you do 15. So I would do them in sets of 5, 3 times. So choose 2 days that you want to do them in sets of 5, 3 times. And again, you're focused on using that assistance. I would never use a chair to do this because you're actually holding a pretty decent amount of weight on your hands, and people don't realize that. We've had people who want to use a chair and it's going to tip. It's not sturdy enough, but you can always use the door handle.
I can't come next Thursday.
Okay, no problem. We can send you the video.
Okay. All right.
And
great.
one of our trainers is actually going to be taking these over, and she's going to be connecting with you all on what day works best for you. Thursdays are not her day, but she does have Fridays and Mondays and Wednesdays, I think. So she's going to connect with you guys to see if we can find another day. If we can't, we'll figure it out. But if we can, we want to get another set of eyes on everyone. And we like everyone to work with multiple trainers. All right. So the next thing.
Does that mean we don't have you anymore?
No, you won't have me anymore for a little while. I can always come back, but no, you won't have me anymore.
Oh.
I will be reviewing all of your videos and making some recommendations on what she does in your sessions. But when we train people in like private sessions or group sessions, we cycle the trainers because each trainer has like a different set of skills, a different eye for things, different cues, different like techniques. And so we like everybody to be exposed to a lot of different variations of that, so that maybe what I'm telling you works really well here, but it doesn't somewhere else. You might be surprised as a new trainer. Oh, that's an interesting perspective. I like this.
Oh, well, we like you very much. You have a very good, kind manner.
Yes, she does. Yes.
Thank you. I won't be gone forever. Don't worry. She'll take over for about a month, and then I'll come back. Then someone else will take for a month, and we'll do it like that.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is that hinge. And so in that hinge pattern, you can use the wall if you want like feedback, but you don't have to. But what you're doing here is you're imagining that someone takes this big stick and puts it on your belt buckle and pushes your hips back, and then they pull your hips forward. So all this movement in the hinge pattern is really come from an imaginary person is pushing these hips back. And if someone were to push me back like this, my chest naturally goes down. But what's really happening is my hips are coming back. And then someone were to take this pole, it's attached to my belt buckle, and pull it forward. So I want to see you do 5 really good hinges. So let's say you do 8 and you choose your 5 favorite ones. You're thinking about feet apart, knees soft, and you're trying to push this butt back, back, back. And then you're coming straight upright by bringing your hips forward. Nice.
And what is that working on?
So this is called the hip hinge. It's the deadlift. So it's working on using your hips to get down and back as opposed to your knees. And it's going to recruit the back of the leg, this muscle in the back of our leg. So if we can, the hamstring, so if we can, and the glutes. So if we can start adding weight to that, once we get the pattern down, which we've been working on, and you guys can absolutely do it with weight, which we're going to do next, then you can build this muscle back here, and the squat's going to build this muscle up here. And so they call those functional movement patterns because they're really, really useful in like how any of us move, no matter what our goals are. They're going to help you to get down easier, get up easier, pick your leg up, run, bike, whatever you do, it's going to make it easier. So these are 2 like big patterns that you'll find that you use to do certain things. So if you garden at all, a lot of times if it's really heavy stuff, you have to use this hinge pattern to pick something up. So let's say I had a bag of sand, what's it called, soil on my counter, and I went over to pick it up. You naturally are most likely going to bend from your hip. Sorry. And so you're naturally probably going to use that pattern without even knowing it to pick things up, because it's a lot stronger, these hips and this muscle, for picking stuff up than your knees like this. So your knees can support a lot of weight, but if you were to get in the high range of weight, like let's say you want to lift 400 pounds, you'd have to wrap your knees up to lift 400 pounds because your knee joint can't take that kind of load. So your hip can. You can easily pull up with your hips way more weight than you can push with your knees. So it's just a different way to move eventually for lifting things. All right, so the next thing we're going to do to get our heart rates up a little bit is we're going to think about being on the balls of our feet. So I want you to bring your heels off the ground, and then just one at a time, I'm going to pick one foot up, put it back down on that ball, pick the other one up, and put it back down on that ball. So it's kind of like I'm on tippy toes with a hot potato. There's a hot ground below me, and you can go fast or you can go slow, but we're going to go for 30 seconds like this on our toes or the balls of our foot. If you need to take a break, by all means, take one. But see if you can go now for the whole 30 seconds, which is going to put you more like at 45 seconds. So you're just like this, and you can always go faster or slower. But we're trying to wake up those feet. We have over 100 muscles, ligaments in those feet. And we're landing on the springy part of our foot here, so try and get it to feel springy. Nice. All right, good. And you can go ahead and relax. Nice. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is just a little exercise if we've been sitting. So it's going to work on our spine. So if you have a wall in front of you, I want you to take your hands up like this. So they look like this from the side and this from the front, like I'm trying to make a goal post. And you're just going to walk up to the wall. Once that touches the wall, I want you to think about just sliding these hands up until you can. Some people can't go very high at all, and that's okay. If you can only go a little, then you can only go a little. As long as your elbow can stay on that wall and the top of your pinky toe can stay on that wall, you can keep going. Once you get to your maximum height, whatever that is, even if it's just here, I want you to think about sinking your chest towards that wall a little bit and bringing those shoulder blades together and then pushing it away. Moving the arm again, sinking the chest, pushing it away. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And you can play with your foot position too, so it feels good. So the whole idea is it's supposed to feel good. Some people will find being a little further away feels better. Others will find being closer feels better. You're going to have more control if you're close. Nice. And you can slide those arms up and down and then move your chest closer at the top. Yeah, perfect. We're just going to do 5 more of those. So you're sliding those arms up, moving your chest closer, pushing away and sliding them back down. Your shoulders might get really tired from this. If they do, you can always take a rest. Nice. Let me know when you're both done.
Yep, I'm done.
Mhm.
Done.
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, next we're going to go to those around the world foot taps. So we're going to imagine there's a clock around us, an imaginary clock. Your clock can be small or it can be really big. It depends on how you feel about your balance and how much of a challenge you want today. So I'm just going to show you and then we'll do it together. But if my clock were really big, I'm going to reach from the 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, around this way. and then the 11 and 10 around this way. So if my clock were really big, reaching for my 12 might look like that. I need to counterbalance my body to reach. Not everyone has this balance, or balance is different every day. So if you're worried about that, then the challenge is, okay, I have a smaller clock, but can I stay on this 1 foot? And can I tap that 12 very gently and bring my leg back? So once you tap that number, you can bring your leg back and you can rest it back on the ground if you need to, or you can try to keep it up in the air, but it's going to get harder and harder to balance as we go around this clock. So we can start with picking our right leg up, and we're going to go for that 12 first, touching it very lightly and coming back. And then we're going to go for the 1, making sure this stationary leg, the 2, is not locked out. So you don't want this stationary leg to be locked like that, but kind of soft. You're going to go for the 3. And we're going to go for the 4, the 5, the 6. You're going to come around the back for the 7. You're going to come around the back for the 8. And you're going to come around the back for the 9. And then you're going to come around the front for the 11 and the 10. You can always use a wall or chair to do this if you need to, but I would prefer that you try to make your clock smaller and then just reset in between. So that's going to help your balance more. So now we're going to go the other way. So I'm going to show you if my balance were really off today, which it kind of is, but if it were more off, I would do this. So now I'm going to stand on my right leg, again, making sure it's soft. I'm going to pick up my left leg and I'm going to go for that 12, come back and reset. Then I'm going to go for the 11, reset, the 10, the 9, nice, the 8, my ankle is still getting very tired like this, 7, nice, the 6, good, going around the back and the side for the 5, this one you might need to hold on to something, around the back here for the 3, reset, and then we're going to go around the front for the 1 and the 2. Good. How does that feel for everyone?
It's tiring on my ankles, but it feels good to do it.
Perfect. All right, so we are going to go back to another 30 seconds to get our heart moving again. This time, we're going to be marching in place. So when I say marching in place, we're bringing this leg up to hip height, bringing it back down and switching. You don't have to stay on the balls of your feet, but I do want you to try to keep that leg at least to hip height each time. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, go. 30 seconds. This one really gets your heart rate up. I always underestimate this one, but it's hard. So you got this. Don't forget to breathe as you're doing it. I really want you to focus on that breath. Nice. Good, you have 10 seconds left. Keep breathing. And if you want to go faster, you can go faster. If you want to go slower, you can go slower. You have 2, 1, and time. You can go ahead and relax. Nice. All right, we're going to go back to this wall. And I'm just going to have you focus on the wall slides this time. You're bringing your hands like you're trying to make a goal post up to the wall. And then you're just going to slide your arms up as long as your elbow to the top of your pinky can stay in contact with the wall. Wherever that is for you is okay. Some people it might be up here. Some people it's going to be 1 centimeter above where they started. And you're just going to slide back down. So your resting position is when your elbow is in line with your shoulder. I don't want you to bring your elbow down below your shoulder. Nothing bad will happen if you do, but that's not the exercise. So try to keep that elbow at the level of your shoulder, and you're sliding up however far you can and sliding back down. We're going to go for 6. Nice. Good. All right, so we're going to finish today with a breathing exercise and a little posture exercise. So remember that posture does not equal pain. It doesn't mean if you have bad posture that you're going to have more pain or that you're doing more harm to your body. Your body is designed to be able to handle load, so pick things up even if your back is not perfectly flat. And it's designed to work even if you're not in an ideal posture. So there's this big myth out there that posture and bad posture equals pain. It actually doesn't. There's a lot of research to support this. But there's always things we can do to move more efficiently. So in this movement here, we're going to look more at our breath and just body awareness in this posture. So you can find a wall or door or whatever that's stable, and you're going to start by putting your butt and your back on the wall. I wouldn't worry about yet what's connected to the wall, just that you're kind of relaxed on the wall. Your feet are a little bit in front of you somewhere. So we're going to start first with the pelvis. So I want you to imagine you're an animal and you have a tail and you're trying to tuck it underneath you. So I'm going to start by tucking these hips like this underneath me. Next, I'm going to go up to this area where if someone were to give me the Heimlich, they would do it. And I'm going to push into it so my back goes flat on the wall. So I'm just kind of imaginary, like pushing it, imagining I'm trying to drive the opposite piece of it flat on the wall. Next, I'm going to take these hands and I'm going to open them up to the room. So opening them like this, trying to get my shoulders to come back and connect with the wall. Not everybody's shoulders will connect with the wall, but if you can get them to. And don't worry about for your head for now. So now that you're here, I want you to focus on your breath. Is your breath easy? Is it flowing? Is it choppy? Does it feel restricted? What do you feel like in this position? Just take note of that. My breath feels very restricted in this position. So whatever you found, I want you to think about, okay, what muscles when I'm here can I relax? For me, it's like my legs are unnecessarily tight, so I can relax those, but I can still stay in the posture. I don't need all these muscles in my arms gripping to stay here. I can loosen up my neck a little bit. And then I want you all to try to find 5 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth in that posture right now, even though you're getting tired, where you feel like you can take a deep, full breath in and a deep, full breath out. And then once you get to 5 of those, you can relax. Good. How does that feel for you both?
Hurts a little bit in my upper back, but otherwise it feels good.
Okay, and when you say it hurts, at what like level of pain would you give that from a scale of 0 to 3?
Oh, like a 1.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, me too.
All right, cool. So a 1 is a safe range. Pain doesn't necessarily equal harm, and if we can keep your pain to between 0 and 3, we can potentially work into an adaptation range. So we do want to recognize that there is pain there, but know that it's not doing anything bad to our body. So if you are feeling pain there, I'd say, okay, we don't have to hold that position as long. Another homework I'm going to give you is one time between now and next Thursday, I want you to try and find that posture and just do 2 breaths there. And see if you can relax whatever might be causing that pain with those 2 breaths and then walk away. So why are we looking at the posture like this? Again, you can have bad posture and still not have any problems. There's no actually really such thing as good or bad posture, but you can have a posture you don't like. It doesn't mean anything bad is happening. The reason we're looking at this tall, very like upright type posture is because it's going to be a lot more efficient in certain sports. So if you want to get back into running or biking or even hiking, if you can bring yourself more upright, it's just going to allow you to move with less energy. So even if we're just moving through our house, we don't want to go hiking, biking, or running, that's fine, but we want to move through our house. We can burn less energy if we can get nice and tall than if we're shifting our center of gravity because our posture is really bad. So even though if I'm here, it doesn't mean anything bad's going to happen to me, my center of gravity is way over my feet. So I'm not as balanced, and it's going to take more energy for me to move around versus if I could align everything so that all my center of gravity is between these feet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, so I want one of you or both of you together to walk me through this posture thing so that you can do it at home with success. So I'm on the wall. What's the first thing I should do?
Well, your feet are a little bit out,
Okay.
and you know, the bottom part of me gets closer to the wall than the top part of me.
Perfect.
So put your butt against the wall and then tighten your hips and bring them to the wall.
Yeah, so think about tilting my hips upwards. So it's like I'm trying to tilt my hips up towards my face. Perfect. What's next?
And then
Breathe.
Yes, keep breathing.
make sure your
Good.
legs are loose.
My legs are loose. Good.
Bring your upper back and shoulders to the wall.
Perfect. So before we get there, I want you to think about that area opposite your solar plexus. So this area right here, like right under your bra strap. And I want you to think about someone is pushing that into the wall so it forces your back to get flat on the wall. And I'm going to exaggerate this for a minute so you can see. So I'm going to tuck these hips up really high because I'm exaggerating. If I were to push this back to the wall, it's almost going to make me come forward because I'm tucking my rib cage down. And then opening the shoulders is what's going to bring me back. So this movement here is designed to just get that gap out of my back. So if I stand here naturally, I can fit my hand here. I'm trying to close that hole before I get to my shoulders.
So your entire back is actually against the wall, except for that little.
I mean, everyone's is going to be different. I can't get mine completely flat, but you're going to do the best you can to get it flat. So the hole is pretty small now. Before, like my natural, I can fit my whole arm through there. Yes, but you guys have it, and that's it, and 2 breaths. And then you're done. So you don't have to stay in there for 2 breaths, but that was great. And then I want you to focus on those squats on the door frame. So 5, 10, 15, one of the days between now and next Thursday, and 5, 10, 15, another day before next Thursday. And even if you can't join us on Thursday, try to see if you can still meet those goals. And then I'll send you a recording of our session, and then you will both get your profiles after this.
Okay.
Someone is editing them because I'm a terrible speller, so you should get them this afternoon.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I have to go.
Yeah.
So, so we're not going to see you again for a while.
Well, you'll see me next Thursday, but at some point in the next
okay.
2 or 3 weeks, we're going to see what day that trainer can do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, cool.
Thank you,
Bye.
Jan, as always.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
Easter.
You too. Happy Easter.